Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another Thursday, and we are here running with scissors, and I am running like crazy today. This project is it's going to be fun. There's a lot of little moving parts to it, and I was just installing a little hook on the side here so I can put my heat tool right on the side of my getup, so I don't have to reach out of the way for it. I thought, oh, that'll be great. I have 40 seconds. I can do it. I did it. Anyway, hey, so glad to see you all. Weather is a little squirrely again. We've got some really nice weather here today. So one day out of 10 isn't bad, I guess. It's going to get hot again here this weekend. Anyway, we are going to have a ton of fun today. Welcome to everybody. I'm so glad you're all popping into the chat. I see all your comments. Everyone's saying hello. If you are new here, of course, pop into the chat. Tell us where you're from. We'd always love to know. We're from around the world, and we're glad that you are here today. All right. This is our last week for wax mediums, at least formally. You'll be seeing them in and out on other projects. So now that we're familiar with them, of course, they can go into our regular cycle and be used in all sorts of different ways. So you'll see them popping in and out from time to time. There's so many things to choose from, right? But we've got them now. So yeah, let's use them. All right. So last week from Wax Mediums, today we're going to be featuring a lot of new Spellbinders products. They are like full on with the holidays stuff. I've seen some of their stuff coming out in the coming months, and there's a lot more holiday from Spellbinders. So hang on to your hats. All right. Next month, we're moving into acrylic paints without gel press. So if you have a gel press, great. We're not going to be using it. We're going to be using the acrylic paints that we like to use with our gel press. And I think we'll have a lot of fun with that. So stay tuned. If you're not on my mailing list, you want to get on it because I've been sending out a lot of stuff. And thank you to everyone who's on my mailing list. You've been getting lots of messages from me, and I appreciate you staying on my list. Because we had the Card Maker Success Summit going on, and I just started announcing for the Stamp Focus Challenge in September. So there's been a lot of stuff going out, but the summit ends this weekend. So now we'll just be talking about the Stamp Focus Challenge, and that should help out a lot. All right, but you do want to get on my mailing list, don't you? So go to NicoleWattCreates.com/technique freebie. Grab the freebie while you're there because it's going to get you some technique sheets that are awesome and are from a little peek into the technique library membership, which is awesome. And all of my members will tell you that. They'll pop in the chat and be like, yeah, techniques. You know what? I wanted to grab a binder. I hope this is the one that's in. I think I put it in here. Yeah, I did. So I wanted to show you guys today's technique before we move into it. So, and that's the only place you can get the coveted technique sheets to build your own technique binder, is in the technique library membership. So grab yourself the freebie, see what it's all about, and then check out the technique library. So yeah, I see that. See, and she's always popping in. She's like 100% on the technique library. I think you've done them all, or at least watched them all, maybe downloaded all of the resource sheets and created your own binder. Yes, everyone loves it. All right. Thank you, guys. Go leave a review. While you are sharing your projects, if you've been inspired by anything here on this channel, a technique, a live stream, anything that I do here, please do tag me on Instagram at Nicole Creates. I love to see what you're creating and how you're inspired by everything that we do here. Of course, I'm always appreciative of everything you guys do here, whether that's liking this video, sharing this video, share this video while it's live. Click on that share button and go out to all of your favorite crafty haunts on Facebook and let them know that we are live and you want them to join us. That is the best way to get more people here, is word of mouth, and to let people know how much you enjoy the content here. So I love it when you share. Even if you're watching a replay, if you're watching this on replay later, click the share button and share it anyway. If you're inspired by something, share it. Crafters always need inspiration, so share what we're doing here. But I do appreciate it too when you use my affiliate links to shop. The link down below will take you to a big old visual list of all of the products that I'm using today at stores where it is available. When you click on those, I might get a small commission at no additional cost to you. That helps to offset everything that I do here for free for you guys. Plus, you know, I'm building out my rig here with, you know, lights and microphone and all the time that it takes to make all this stuff. So using the affiliate links really helps out me and other crafters when you use their affiliate links too. But if you don't need to do any crafty shopping, and sometimes we don't, go ahead and click on that tip jar button and leave me a little tip. A cup of coffee is always appreciated. It keeps me going. And thank you to Erin and Kathy last week for sharing Cup of Joe with me. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And here are our new subscribers. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. We're almost to 3,000 subscribers. So woo, thank you so much. I think by the end of the month, I'm going to hit 3,000. So that would be amazing. 3,000 people following little old me. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And of course, as I said, the Stamp Focus Challenge is open for registration. Get registered now so you can get your supplies lists and get ready for the challenge that starts on August 30th. I mean, like literally almost a month away. Yes, the projects are awesome. Projects are awesome. You do not need the stamp set, but if you love the stamp set, get it. I'm using some extra stamp sets from Picket Fence Studios, and they are all optional. You can create the basic card, or you can step up the design using some additional stamp sets and dies. We are going to be using a set of nesting dies, but of course you can use any nesting dies that you have, and you're going to see that throughout the month. So go check out the challenge. I have over $400 in prizes for giveaways, and you're going to get access to techniques. Every week you're going to get a couple of techniques and the technique sheets to start your very own binder. The techniques on Tuesdays go along with the project that we do right here on Thursdays. And then right after this, we give ourselves a little potty break, right? Right after this, we go into a Q&A session and we chat about the day's project, the week's techniques, ask questions, all sorts of great things, have a little bit of crafty camaraderie. And then over the weekend and into the next week, you work on your project. And when you're posting it in the group, the private chat, we've got private chat, we've got a place where you can post things in progress and show everybody what you're doing and how excited you are about the results that you're having, or even if you're having struggles, we like to share those too and help each other out. But then that's also where we're doing our giveaways. So yeah, post your giveaways and or your projects, and that qualifies you for the giveaways. We do a giveaway every week. And this time we're going to have a private workshop. The workshop is going to be done on the 5th week. You know, normally I take a break here, so I am going to take a break here, but we're going to be doing something over in Bloom with the Stamp Focus Challenge. We're going to be doing a private workshop. I'm going to lead you through it. You're going to make along with me, and we're going to make an amazing card. You'll probably see it in some of the advertising later, but it is stunning, gorgeous. You're going to love it. We're going to have a great time in September. So join us. Join.bloomcrafters.com/challenge. That will get you there. Register today. Oh, and there's a swap too. It's optional, but there is a swap. So check it out. Hope to see you guys there. All right. Let's take a look. So here's our technique sheet for today. Mixed metal foundry wax die cuts. It is so cool, guys. I was thrilled that I had excellent results with my mixed metal with the foundry waxes, and then I was able to die cut it and it didn't peel up or pull off or anything. You know how sometimes you emboss something, heat emboss, and then you want to die cut it, but then it peels up. It's kind of weird, right? It doesn't do that. So it's really awesome. That's what we're going to use today. And Cece, I saw you got some foundry waxes. Woo, woo. Yeah. So Cece lives in Sweden. She just got foundry waxes. Yes. Now you can do this technique. So awesome. Okay. Let's take a look at today's project. Oh, Paula wants to know, as a Bloom member, are you automatically registered? No, you're automatically registered for the challenge. So that's another bonus. If you're a Bloom member or a Bloom a community member or the Technique Library member, you automatically get access to the Stamp Focus Challenge. So yeah, Paula, you are already in. You should have gotten some emails with welcome and the information about our supplies lists, but you do have access already to the content area to get that stuff as well. So yeah, and you do need to elect to be in the swap. Exactly, Kathy. So the swap is extra, and I'll be sending out reminders about that as well. All right, today's projects. This is our focus project. I love it. This is all Spellbinders. So this background piece is Spellbinders, and this beautiful stitched ornament is Spellbinders, and the words, these little bits here, all Spellbinders. And then I took the negative because it was just too beautiful, and I turned it into a shaker, and it does actually have a sentiment. It says joy right down there. So cute. All right, so we're going to do actually two different kind of techniques with the foundry wax. We're going to focus on this card. I don't know if we're going to get to the shaker card, but shaker card, guys. I mean, I think you get it. I used tool instead of window sheet, so it gives it a nice softer look. It doesn't reflect as much because there's a lot going on there. All right, but yeah, totally a 2-for-1 card. All right, so if we don't get to this one completely, and we definitely will finish this one, and then this one's kind of a no-brainer. I do have, if you are on my mailing list, you get access to my project PDF library. This one is out there, so if we don't finish it here today live, you can grab the PDF for this one to finish it up. All right, so let's get started because now we got a lot to do, right? Okay, let's do it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, actually, and I know what I forgot. I forgot water. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is some watercoloring on watercolor paper, but we're going to emboss it first. So this is the Stitched Petal Diamond background. Now you see it's got holes in it, and then it has the piece to cut out the rectangle, which is super nice. So this is kind of nice because if you wanted to do a background piece, but you didn't for some reason want to cut it 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, you can omit it, right? And you could just you could do multiple cuts and end up with a longer piece, which would be kind of cool. Like if you wanted to do, it's just occurred to me, if you wanted to do like a little votive holder where the light would shine through, you could line these up and do multiple cuts on a longer piece. But see, because it doesn't have the cut around the edge, it's just going to keep cutting the little holes, which is super nice. So we're going to start by cutting this, but I'm hoping that it doesn't cut all the way through. So I'm not going to add any extra shims. I'm just going to run it through because watercolor paper is a little thicker, right? And actually, if you want to do the whole thing together, you can. So you can put the whole thing together if you know you're going to cut out the smaller piece. But actually, I'm going to do this first. So that way we've got a little bit of extra room for our watercolor. So I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. And today I've got Alta News Emerald. We used this earlier in the month. So I thought it would be nice to bring it back. Now see, look, I didn't do any extra shimming and it didn't cut through, which is exactly what I wanted. Because I just wanted the texture. I didn't want to have, I didn't want to have any extra little holes or anything like that, right? I just wanted the texture. And you'll see it's got the texture on here too. That's what I wanted. So don't cut through all the way. Don't shim it or anything. And then just let it go through. All right. So now what I'm going to do is we're just going to do like a watercolor wash on here. A little bit of water. I didn't pick the biggest brush, but it will do. And then I want this emerald to kind of grab into some of those holes. This is what I call quick and dirty watercolor. I don't care where it ends up. I just want it to be nice and wet. I didn't get enough water on here to begin with. There we go. And we're just going to get it on here. Sometimes that's a nice thing about using these brushes. You can just kind of get some on here, right? It gets a little dark in places. That's fine because we're just going to spread it around. And you can make it as light or as dark as you want. It's going to get in some of those nooks and crannies. There we go. All right, it's a little bit of a mess. I can pull some up if I want. Actually, that's quite nice. Now that I've dabbed some of that up. All right, so I just dabbed some of that up. I just let the green stick where it was going to. That looks great. Super simple, right? I got my little hook over here. I love this. So my my old embossing gun, it had a cold spot in it. And I didn't like the way that it was heating. So I decided to try the Ranger Heat It craft tool. So we're going to try this today. I think I can talk over it, which is great because it's awfully quiet. It's definitely not a hair dryer. It's definitely not low heat. It puts out some BTUs, let me tell you. But I like so far that it is gentle and it seems to melt in a different way because it's not so forceful. I think it melts embossing powder more evenly and gives it a better look in the end. So that's my current feeling on it, and we'll see if it lasts. So I'm just drying this up a little bit. It doesn't have to be pretty right now because we're going to be cutting it up. We're going to be adding some stuff to it. It's going to be awesome. And technically, you don't even really have to do this. I just liked the watercolor look of it. So I chose to do this. You could do this with colored paper. You could continue to just use white if you wanted. Doesn't matter. Whew, that's hot. I like my little hook. All right, yeah, the hook is definite winner. Now I don't have to like reach way out of the way for it. All right, so this is dry and we are done with this. Let's move it out of the way. We do not want any crafts-idents or craftastrophes today, that's for sure. Okay, so let's move into the amazing things we're going to do with this. Okay, foundry waxes, here they come. So this is not the technique that I was showing you earlier. Got to shake up your foundry waxes. Always have to shake up your foundry waxes. So this is not the technique I was showing you earlier. This is just kind of a different technique. Just going to take a brush and some foundry wax. And I didn't poke these out, so I might get a bit of a splooge. I hope not. There it is. So this is gilded. And what I'm going to do is just brush some on here. And if you brush lightly, it's going to kind of go on the raised areas and not on the unraised areas. All right, and it doesn't look great to begin with, let me tell you. It does not look great. Let's do, I don't know if I did multicolor on that or not. Oh, I did. I'm going to do just a little bit of the copper. So you see, you're just putting out a little bit at a time. I'm just brushing it on. There's extra on the brush. You can just kind of sweep it back and forth and brush it on. All right. That's it. That's all we're going to do with that. Now we're going to heat it up. So let me, let's zoom in. Let's zoom in for the heating. Okay, so as you know, foundry wax has to be heated. It doesn't stick otherwise. Otherwise, it'll just kind of like powder and flake off. And besides, it doesn't really look good right now. It looks just kind of funky, right? So let's heat this up. So there we go. We're starting to see that shimmer. All right, so this is just a little shimmer. All right. So see, now we've got that shimmer on there. It's set in place. It's not going to rub off or anything. It's really awesome. Right? Again, this still doesn't really look super great. Karen. Resist. You can only get to so many things. So have fun with your art alchemy waxes. Use them for a while and then come back and look at these later. Okay. So we need to, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to 2-for-1 die cut this right now. So here is our stitched ornament die set. And it's got the stitched ornament, which is what we need. And again, it's got the piece to cut it out completely separate, which is fabulous because then you can decide whether you want to put it into, you know, if it's going to stay on one layer and you just want to stitch it in place, or if you want to cut it out as a separate element, right? So I really like that feature of these dies from Spellbinders. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm prepping for my 2-for-1. Like I've planned out that I want to do a 2-for-1 card, right? So I'm going to use that frame that comes with the background stitching. All right, and actually I don't even need this for this first part. I just need the frame here. All right, so now you see what I'm doing. I'm going to cut out my ornament for the primary card, but at the same time I'm prepping for this to be able to be used for the shaker card later, right? So if you do a little planning, like you get this whole panel done and you're like, oh, I was just planning on cutting out this big ornament, but you know what, I can make a shaker card from it. Then plan appropriately and cut out both at the same time. Yeah, Kathy, I agree. The alchemy waxes, they smell great. I don't mind the perfume at all. So, and yes, the foundry wax can be a little difficult to work with. That's why I've been kind of doing these freeform funky things with them, because it's a little less frustrating trying to get an even look and things like that, right? So now I've got a scrap piece. I did just throw that on the floor. This piece now is for later. This is going to be for my, it's going to be for my shaker card. All right. Set that aside. All right. Now, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to die cut this again on just a piece of white. This is going to be a background piece. This is a heavier white cardstock, so like a 100-pound cardstock. So again, this doesn't cut out the holes because I don't want it to cut out the holes. If you're having problems with it cutting out the holes even when you don't want it to, you could use the rubber mat to just do the embossing technique with it, and that would work as well. All right, but with heavier card here, I know this isn't going to cut through. It just doesn't work that way. All right. So actually what happened was the background cut the way I wanted it to, but the corners or the edges did not cut. Silly me. I knew that was going to happen. Back of my mind. Right. So I am going to have to run this through again with a shim. So I actually want that part to cut out. Some days you just feel kind of backwards in the craft room. It happens. Oh, there we go. That cut it out for sure. Here's an interesting thing I've been noticing about Spellbinders. So their dies have a copper coating on them, right? So it's a pretty copper coating. Check out what happens on this white cardstock. Can you see it? Kind of the copper leavings that it leaves in there. It's really cool. I mean, it's just some of the paint or whatever from the copper, but it actually kind of sticks in those holes, and it looks really cool that way. Anyway, yeah, I guess I'm just kind of having a bit of a backwards day. That's all right. We're doing it. I did just throw that on the floor too. Okay, so we need white cardstock. We've got our beautiful beginnings of a beautiful ornament here. All right. We've got a background piece. So you see how these guys are going to go together, and you see how like the stitching just kind of mimics each other, which is great. If they line up perfect, that's awesome. If not, no one's ever going to notice. All right. They're just going to be like, oh, that's the same stitching, but they're never going to be like, oh, does it match perfect? No, you can't see it that much. All right. So do you remember a couple weeks ago when we were using Foundry Wax with the tree? And I said, oh, I'm going to do these extra little green bits here. So I have those green bits left over, and I kept this because I knew I was going to use this again. All right. So we're going to do a freeform Foundry Wax panel. Say that 5 times fast, because we're going to cut all of these little pieces out from it. All right. So this is the best part about having fun with Foundry Wax, is that literally you can just go and add it to a piece of paper, just, you know, paint it on. So I'm trying to kind of finish up this panel so I have lots of good usable places to die cut from. Right, and it is going to get dusty eventually. That's just the way it works. And remember, I'm keeping the lids closed in between, just pouring out what I can use very quickly. All right, and now I can layer these on top of each other. Okay. Oh. The silver one definitely is thicker. It does have a ball in it, or at least it should. You may not hear it so well when you're shaking it. All right. So there's some silver in there. doesn't matter what it looks like right now. All right, I don't know how much I'm going to get off of this one, but we'll work with this little piece first, and then we've got this green piece as well. All right, so let's heat this up. So when you're working with the layers, it takes just a little bit longer to get them all to melt, but you'll know when they're ready because it looks gorgeous. It goes from dull to shiny. So now I have this mixed metal piece, and it's okay to have these little pools. They will stay. All right. So there we go. Now we got this really cool mixed metal piece of cardstock. It's just white cardstock underneath. As you know, we did it earlier in the month this way with the green, so you can reuse all these little bits and pieces. That's why I left it on there, because I can get little die cuts from these easily. All right. All right. Done with that one. This is the one we need now. And I'm going to find my stitched. There we go. Trying to keep all these things together. And we need this one. And maybe that for later. We'll put this on top. Okay, so this is the Mix and Match Holiday Greetings. It's got all sorts of different words. As a designer, Spellbinders doesn't send us the packaging. They just send us the dies. So you'll have to read backwards. So it's like deck the halls, joy, peace. There's a the in here. There's an and, merry, holidays, wishes, greetings. So you can mix and match to make whatever greeting you want to make. So we'll do just like we did on the other ones. So this is merry and bright. Now the weird thing about these is that, not weird, but just something to keep in mind, is that like the M is separate from the airy. So the ERRY is one piece and the M is its own piece. All right, which is kind of nice. In a way, you can then use some of these capital letters because they're always separate from the rest of the word. But it makes it just a hair harder to align them. All right, and then we're going to need this piece here. This is the top and the bottom to the ornament, and we can even fit, I don't know if it fits inside here. Oh, it does. Perfect. All right, so we can do the top to the ornament as well. And if you want to cut other little pieces from here, you can. So I don't think these guys are, oh, two of them will fit. I can do two of the ornaments on here at a time. So, or you can kind of shift things around and make them fit how you want. I'm just trying to avoid any place where I have white paper, so we're going to just kind of leave them together. So go ahead and stack a whole bunch of dies all together. We do need two of these. And, oh, you know what? And the and will fit over here. So the cool thing about this is you're always going to get something different. All right. And trying to maximize my space. Let's just do half, and then we'll see if we can get this guy on here too. Right. So with these, I'm definitely going to use a shim because I want to make sure that they cut all the way through. And I don't know if you noticed, but it keeps sliding off, and that's because it really doesn't, this mint tape doesn't like to stick to the foundry wax. All right, so let's cut those out. So good to see all you guys in the chat. I see we've got some new visitors. Hello and welcome. I always like to know where you're from, so if you feel like popping into the chat and telling us where you're at, we'd love to know. All right, so you see here's our bee. We're going to have like all sorts of little extra bits. All right. So our ampersand, gosh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's super pretty. And what I love is when you get the mix of metals on these. So like this piece here. It's got copper and silver and gold. It's got all of it on there. It's gorgeous. Everyone's going to be different. So let's grab the rest of the word bright. There we go. All right, and then let's line up our second group here because we need the word Mary. I think that'll work well. Oh yeah, perfect. See, I'm glad that I did it that way because now I was able to see that I could get that all on there. Right. Shim, don't forget to shim. All right, so this little guy I'll save for later because I can use on my shaker card. Here's my M. I typically have the Roomba go by after class so that way she can pick up all of the scraps on the floor. Not the big ones, but the little ones that I just like went. So see, there's still some places on here. I might be able to use this again for some other little bits. So I will not throw this away. Might use it for some of our little ornaments. All right. So let's take a look at our card again. So this is the card that we're building. And we need some little floral bits here. And there are 2 pieces here. Okay, and what I did is I cut them out of some thicker vellum and then I cut them in half and what have you, so that way I could use them to fit in here really good. So let's cut those out as well. And again, these are fairly intricate cuts, so I would definitely use a shim to make sure that they get cut out completely. See, I don't know if you noticed, but these are the, it's backwards, the iCrafter shims. They're really great. So thank you to Trisha for sending them to me. I really like them. Thanks, Trisha. Right, I love these. I used a heavier vellum for this because I love the detail that these press out. They're gorgeous. All right, so there's that one, and then there's this one. Whoa. Falling over. Here's the other one. All right, so we're going to cut those down. And actually, I'm going to cut a second pair while I'm thinking about it for my shaker card. If we get to it, I'll have them done. All right. So now, everything I need for our first coat. just going to set these aside over here. All right. Didn't need that. That's great. So we've got a couple of things here. Let's reorganize, shall we? We've got all of our little metallic bits. We've got our ornament. We have our background piece and a piece of white cardstock. And I've got a piece of double-sided adhesive sheet. All right. Hey, Penny, make sure that you send me an email later if you still are having problems getting on. Don't forget, you're going to Bloom Crafters for the challenge. Not Nicole Creates. But we can look up your account later and I can make sure you've got the right email. All right, so this is going to go right on our card base. And as long as your card base is cut correctly, it should fit perfectly. So I just use a double-sided adhesive sheet on the back of this to make it easy. I could have totally glued it down. But I was just feeling like, you know what? Let's not deal with the glue if we don't have to. All right, so I'm going to pop this up in the corner here. Get that to come across nice and straight. And there we go. So there is my card base on my card, all nice and ready to go. See how easy that was with the double-sided adhesive? Works super nice. Okay, so everything else here is popped up. So I've got this purple strip, and that fits perfectly across. So it's 4 1/4. All right. Oh, yep. See, Penny, there's your problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this guy on here so I can get my sentiment on it without any problems. All right, so let's zoom in and let me show you a few tricks here. All right, so I've got my glass mat here, right? I don't know what I want to use. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my center mark here, and I'm going to put my piece of cardstock down so that it's centered. And just use some Post-it tape to put that down. So now I know I can put my ornament and glue it on here and use the vertical up and down, right, to get that in place. Super nice thing about having a craft mat or whatever it is that you're using to have a grid on it, so that way you can use it this way. All right, so now all I have to do is match this up. And then I'm just kind of eyeballing the center from top to bottom. That's not such a big deal. But if you want it to be perfect, you can also, you know, measure top to bottom, etc. All right, so you have a little glue there. And I'm going to pick that up before I move on because I'm going to be putting down those words and I don't want that to get in the way. All right, so see, I'm working. I've got that all nice and centered. It looks great. I'm going to start with, let's take a look at this and see what we've got here. I'm going to probably find it best to do a little bit of measuring, making sure, you know, putting things down dry before I put them down completely. These pieces here can go down because they fit perfectly. All right, so these little holes on the ends here fit on those little holes. You see that? You see that little bump right here? It's exactly where these fit. So that's kind of nice. All right, and for me, I'm going to continue using my Tombow Multi, and let me just get this to close up for you. And look, I just put little teeny tiny dots in strategic places. So I don't do the whole thing. And then without squeezing, of course, most of this I'm doing without squeezing anyway. Now I'm just going to kind of smear it across. So that way I don't get too much in any one place. All right. And that's going to go down. right here. There is no top or bottom. It's perfectly symmetrical. Yay! So we don't have to worry about trying to know which end is up. That's just kind of nice, right? All right, and so here's our second piece. Check that out. Gold, silver, copper. It's fantastic. All right, and then again, just gonna smear it around. All right, and that's gonna go on top. And again, it's so nice. I just have to line up these little bumps. So perfect. It just goes right in place. So awesome. All right, so those are the two pieces. And then I've got my letters here. Oh, I cut out two ands. That's fine. So here's one. And there's the M for the Mary. Now, like I said, the Mary and the Bright, the letters separate. The M separates from the rest here. And the Bright is separate as well. All right, so at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip my paper or my tape around. This doesn't matter so much anymore, and because now everything is glued down, so that's great. But I just want to kind of keep it all still. Right. So that way I can make sure everything's going in the right place and it all looks good. So because these, where are my, okay, there. Sometimes moving things around with a little tweezer is good. See, my fingers have a little bit of glue on them, guys. So the and almost falls like right in the center, which is great. Up the M. This is the kind of card that, while it is gorgeous, I won't be mass producing these, because putting these on does take a little bit of time. There's a lot of different ways that you could go about refining how you put this on. Like maybe you want to try using some press and seal, or using your low tack tape to kind of line things up and then flip it over and whatever. But it all takes a little bit of time just to get it lined up right. All right, so that looks pretty good. And of course, these are, they're not glued down yet. So I'm going to start from the center and work my way out, because I know where that and needs to go now. And again, I'm not going to put glue everywhere. You don't need to have glue everywhere. You can run these through a Xyron machine. You could have run these through with double-sided adhesive strips, adhesive on the back. Again, a lot of different ways you can work the adhesive situation on this as well. What I like though is using the reverse tweezer. This is really where these come in handy. They're not always my favorite, but this is really a time where they do come in handy. So I can hold it without having to actively hold it, right? Because the reverse tweezer holds things, it holds the tweezers shut. So that's super nice, because now I can come in and just add in my glue. And using the liquid glue does give me a minute or two to shimmy things around, right? So now I can just flip it over and place it. And then release it. That works super nice. All right, so again, you really only need glue in the key areas. Get all of your little descenders and make sure you get a little bit on each end so it's not popping up and your ascenders. You don't have to get it everywhere. There we go, almost done. All right, so as I'm looking at this, I want to make sure that the Mary is about the same height as the Bright here. And again, you can kind of shift it around a little bit because you've got some time with the liquid glue. And then our M goes on. And the M can go up underneath that E. And that's how those kind of link together, which is nice. All right, you can do any little fidgeting you need to do to fix any angles. With the large letters and the small letters, what I'm looking at is, you see this little line here for the B. I'm kind of making this the same angle as the R and the I. So if it was all the way, you know, if it was up like that, that wouldn't quite be right. So I want to make this angle be the same as this angle. So that's why using the liquid glue is nice, because I can shift things around a little bit if I need to. There we go. Now our element is complete. Oh, almost complete. Just pop this guy on the top. If you wanted to, you could add a little bit of thread. And just get him to stick down a little bit. There we go. It doesn't go all the way down because otherwise the top of the ornament does stick up a little bit. So there we go. All right, so there is our finished element. You're catching some of that gold from the background there. So cute. All right, now this just pops onto our card. Wherever that may be, our card base right here. And I'm just going to use some double-sided foam strips. So like I said, this is the kind of card where, you know, I make one or two of them. Maybe I would do something else with the stitched ornament that would be easier to do other cards with. But you know, this one goes to someone special that is going to really place value on getting a beautiful handmade card from me. And it's not going to end up in the trash next week. All right. And it's a nice heavy weight because we've got that extra piece on the back with the die cut on it. Now, these are called stitched. This is a stitched ornament, and the background is a stitched petal background. So if you do cut it so that the holes show through, you can do any kind of stitching you want with these as well. So you could create really cool Christmas ornaments with it. You could do all sorts of really great things. All right, so don't screw this up in the end and put this on cockeyed. You want to make sure that it goes across nice and straight. There we go. All right, let's get some finishing touches on here, shall we? So we had the vellum pieces, right? What I'm going to do with this vellum piece is I'm going to cut here. I'm actually going to cut this top leaf off, so that way it gives it a finished look. All right, so like that. And then this guy here will look like this. You have a little extra leaf that pops off. That's fine. And then here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut the, I think I cut the, yeah. Just going to cut it right here at this little 2. So see, cutting it right there. That gives us this little end bit, which is fine. And then this guy gets cut off. Then you can apply them wherever you want. So when you saw when I put the foam on, I didn't go all the way up to the edge, so that way I could tuck these guys in here. And what I'm going to do is just tuck the, use the bottom for the adhesive, and the rest is going to sit free. So that way it can float wherever it wants to. Same thing with this. Just a little bit on the end there. Pop that in. And then these guys as well. Like so. If you've got if the end is too long, you can always snip it. All right, so those kind of like so. And that's it. You can pop some sequins. This one I didn't want to do too much with, so I'm just going to use some of the satin white sequins from Alteneum. And I've been using the Spellbinders Glazing Glue. This is a really great product for sequins and gems because it dries clear and hard. It does dry glossy, just so you know. But if you use it sparingly, you shouldn't have an issue with that. All right, so just put 3 little teeny tiny drops down. And I transplanted it from the container it came with into this container because I like the tip better. And we're going to pop some sequins on here. So a large one. And a teeny tiny one. We're going to go right there. And then the medium size one will go under here. Just kind of tucked away. But enough to give it a little extra. And there we go. So I knew this one was going to take us a while to do, but now I have all the extra pieces that I need to do the shaker card. So I've got my background piece. I cut an extra little top. So I've got the top as well. I would just need to cut some purple bits here to do the detail on the tool, and then cut a word and, you know, do any little embellishments that I want. You can see that this looks very similar. I cut these the same way, and then I went ahead and added in some of these little greenery bits that I had left over from a couple weeks ago. It comes together pretty quick. And then I just put a fun sequins mix in there, just some leftovers from a whole bunch of different companies to put them together. Now, and then check out what I did in the background. I die cut that same, I die cut this piece with a piece of kind of ivory shimmer cardstock to give you the detail on the background. All right. So, better than Hallmark, absolutely. So guys, sign up for my mailing list and you will get access to my PDF library. And you'll be able to get the step-by-step instructions on the shaker card bit of it. And of course, this one will be out there as well. So there you go. Here we are. We've finished another project or 2, and we've finished another whole month here at Running with Scissors. I don't know where the time goes. It goes entirely too fast, and I'm working on all sorts of great things for the upcoming months. Of course, we have the Stamp Focus Challenge coming up. If you didn't hear about it, go back and watch the announcements at the beginning. You want to sign up for the Stamp Focus Challenge. I talk a lot about it at the beginning. I also did a whole stories series on Instagram earlier in the week. Yesterday it was, but it's in my little highlights as well, so you can watch that. It's an explainer. It talks all about the Stamp Focus Challenge and what we do and what you get out of it and why you want to join. So check it out. Go to join.bloomcrafters.com/challenge, and that will get you over to the challenge. Hey, let me pop that up here real quick for you guys. Nope, not that one. This one. Join.bloomcrafters.com/challenge. So you guys can join the challenge. We already have over 50 people registered. So join. Don't miss out. Right? Okay, guys. Thank you so much today for joining me today. And we will be back next week. We're going to start with some fun acrylic projects next week. And I hope you guys have some time to get crafty. I hope you check out that the Card Maker Success Summit. I'll be going live tomorrow on that. And thanks, guys. I will see you next week. Don't forget to give this video a like on the way out and share it with all your friends. I hope to see you and your crafty friends here next week for more Running with Scissors. Until next time, though, happy crafting.